Did anybody hear recently that there was a big transit, Jupiter transit? Did anybody hear this? It's making big waves in on social media these days. Astrology, politics, everything makes big waves on social media. And then when we find something like this, we start pinning it. Hey, Shuki. We start pinning whatever is good, bad, ugly around our lives. We start pinning it to, okay, so this transit is happening. So, oh, okay. And if you're an astrologer, more so, like, Shalini will know, she will find an excuse for everything that is going up and going down because you know astrology. So, oh, this transit, oh, that transit, oh, this dasha, that, right? Now, this is of significance. Usually, I don't pay much attention to astrology because if you're doing sadhana, then there is really not much that the planets will play their part. But if you're doing sadhana and swadhyay, you are really steering clear of most pitfalls that can be steered clear of. Like there are so many things that in our lives that happen because they're supposed to happen. There is no way around it. If we are going to fall, we are going to fall. Who's going to cross us while we are falling down is important. क्योंकि जो हमारे सामने या साथ में या पीछे से आ रहा है वो ही हाथ दे के उठा सकता है मेरे जैसा आदमी हो तो आपकी बदकिस्मती if it is somebody like me because I will not stop for anybody or help anyone. But there are a lot of people who are very kind, who are very generous, who are very giving, and we would be fortunate to have those people walking by when we've fallen. So this is all that sadhana and swadhyaya does. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen, but we will try and make sure everything happens the easiest possible manner that it can. So usually I don't pay attention to astrology. I don't talk about astrology, but I think this transit is very important. This transit happens every 6 years, which can draw your attention, and you can read this every 6 years in the same fashion. So, for those of you who know a little bit of astrology, who have done a little bit of workshop with me or done energies classes, then you know there are two big planets, or who know a little bit of astrology. There are two big planets that affect us. One is Jupiter, and one is Saturn. Saturn and Jupiter really, really affect us. Of course, we are not going to talk about Sun, Moon, every planet affects us, but big transits of Saturn and Moon affect us in a big fashion. Now, Saturn, we don't worry about too much because no matter where Saturn is transiting, it is affecting at least 5 houses. So you're not really ever very far away from Saturnian effect. So, for those of you who do not understand astrology too much, we are always going to have some difficulty because of Saturn in our lives. Not because Saturn is bad, but because Saturn gives us the results of karmic debts, and we always have karmic debts. There is not one moment that we don't have karmic debts that we suffer, right? So we don't worry about Saturn too much. Again, I have never talked about Saturn too much because Saturn is always there. We assume it is always there. And in three conditions, Saturn will not affect us if you're doing your sadhana, if you're being true to your teacher, if you're being true to your parents, if you're being true to your country, Saturn will not affect you. If you're evading taxes, if you're in any which way disrespecting your parents, if in any which way you're disrespecting the country, uh, Saturn will start bothering you, and that's fine. So hopefully all of us are trying to do our best to stay abreast in all these areas and not attracting Saturnian wrath. Hopefully, everybody is doing all of this, taking care of their parents, taking care of their country, feeling proud and responsible citizens, and taking care of their teachers, taking care of their sadhana. Everybody is doing. Mostly, everybody over here in this group, in this crowd, is taking care of Saturn. So we don't need to talk about Saturn. Saturn is important. It is a big transit, especially when it transits something like the Leo sign. It will become very, very important. But at the moment, we don't need to talk about it. The other big planet that affects us is Jupiter because of its size, its proximity, and its benevolence. It affects us. It is the life giving energy, it's the life giving planet. For those of you who've done an energies class, you know just there's nothing like Jupiter. So, this transit of Jupiter happens every year. Jupiter moves, so there are 12 signs. You remember the Earth has 12 constellations around it that we can see, visible constellations. And from Earth perspective, each planet will transit from one constellation to the other. So we know like sun goes around the 12 constellations in 12 months. Hmm? So one constellation, how many days? About 28 days, 30 days. एक महीना होता है ना सन एक कॉन्स्टेलेशन में सन साइन कितने दिन का होता है एक महीने का so sun will transit from one sign to the next in 1 month. But Jupiter, because of its distance, transits one sign in 1 year. Okay? Basic astrology. Jupiter will move from, say, Aries to Taurus in 1 year. From Taurus to next sign will be Gemini in 1 year. So next year, around May, June, Jupiter will transit again and go into which sign? It will go into Gemini. Right now it is in Taurus. Okay. For those of you who know basic sun signs, you will remember this, right? तो बचपन से खेलते आ रहे हैं हम लोग है ना ये टॉरस है ये जेमिनाई है लिंडा गुनमेन सबने पढ़ी हुई so I don't need to explain this to anybody. You move from this whole cycle from Aries. You कोई भी न्यूज़पेपर उठा के देख लो Aries से लेके Pisces तक sun signs होते हैं ये 12 constellation है. These are the 12 constellations. And what is to note is that two planets that we talked about, Venus moves from one constellation to the next in Venus Jupiter moves from one constellation to the next in 1 year, and sun moves from one constellation to the next in 1 month. And the third important planet, Saturn, moves from one constellation to the next in 2.5 years. Okay. All right. So this movement of Jupiter must be really important in Chinese astrology because you know Chinese astrology signs also move every 12 years. So not that we find any evidence, physical evidence of them tracking Jupiter, but we know that the Chinese signs also move every. And interestingly, for those of you who follow Chinese astrology, you know which year this is?
Dragon.
Excellent, beta. So every 12 years, the year of the dragon is this movement of Jupiter. Eureka? Some just thoughts? Every 12 years, the year of the dragon is this movement of Jupiter. It is a very important movement of Jupiter. Year of the dragon, usually dragon is the only animal sign in Chinese astrology which is mythical. All other animal signs are real animals. Dragons are mythical. So, what does that mean? If you read any Chinese horoscope, dragon is considered very auspicious, bringer, harbinger of big change. It's a beautiful sign to have. Hmm? So this is a very momentous time across the board. I haven't studied Mayan calendar. I'm sure something similar will be there over there. So the three old civilizations, I'm sure the calendars are sinking in somehow. Now, why this is momentous is because, and I said that every 6 years we need to track this. Jupiter is mythologically is the teacher of the gods. Guru hai Brihaspati, kiske? Teacher of the devtas. And they there are no really there is no maleficence possible from Jupiter. है ना? When we study Jupiter, there is no there is no hardship that Jupiter can really give you. Like how can Jupiter hurt you? It's not possible for Jupiter to hurt you. But for those of us who have lived long enough, we know Jupiter can also hurt, right? We know Jupiter can also hurt. Like today, Shashank is joining us. Beautiful elder brother, beautiful Jupiter. But there is hurt because he's not there anymore, right? I don't even have an elder sibling, but there is hurt that I never had an elder sibling. Remember when we were younger, Shalini? For those of us who are the elder, the firstborns, we wish we had a Jupiter. Yeah, Disha, Megha, Chiku. We wish. I mean, for those of you who are younger, you have your other problems. Jupiter is a problem, one way or the other. But for those of us who are the firstborns, we have other problems. So it's while one thing is correct that Jupiter cannot be considered in any which way a malefic energy, but it does have, it's not like it's devoid of its moments of hurt and pain and suffering. It's not. It does have a significant hurt and suffering that it can um, impart to or affect people. So, why this particular transit is important is because at this juncture, Jupiter and Venus are in one which way coming together. Right now, actually, Jupiter and Venus are together because Venus, like I said, every planet moves from one constellation into another in different time periods because of its proximity from Earth or distance from Earth. So, Sun moves in 1 month, Venus moves in about 40 days or something, 40, 45 days. Yeah, Shalini, what is the exact period? 40 days, 45 days, something like that. So, Venus will move in 40, 45 days. Jupiter will move in 1 year. So, Venus and Jupiter will be together at some point in that 1 year, right? Think about it. If Jupiter will be in one sign, in Taurus, for one whole year, in 1 year, Venus will also come in Taurus at some point. Correct? Yes. So Venus and Jupiter are diametrically opposite energies. I was telling you mythologically, Jupiter is the teacher of the gods and Venus is the teacher of the demons. Hmm. Jupiter doesn't have any animosity, doesn't have any enemies. But in this case, this is not a very positive space to be. Like this particular relationship, Venus and Jupiter, is a relationship of diametrically opposites. It doesn't, it it's not natural. Let me put it like this. It's not a natural relationship. Now, things to note before we go further into this discussion. Taurus is governed by Venus. There are two signs that are governed by Venus, Taurus and Libra. Very good. Taurus and Libra. So these are the two signs that are governed by Venus. So every time, like I said, 6 years, every time Jupiter will come either in Taurus or in Libra, which will happen in 6 months, in 6 years. This is a very unnatural time. It's an unnatural conjunction. It is not a comfortable conjunction for Jupiter or Venus. And it will bring two problems. For Venetian people, so people who are Taurians, people who are Librans, there is a problem that an unnatural energy has come into their space. So it's going to be different. For people who are Jupiterians, so this is which signs? This is Pisces, this is and Sagittarius. All number threes, all number sixes, right? All people who have ascendant as Pisces or Sagittarius, all people who have moon Pisces and Sagittarius, all people who have sun Pisces and Sagittarius, all people who have sun Taurus and Libra, all people who have ascendant Taurus and Libra, all this is a lot of people. And generally, then you talk about all people who are working in the field of Jupiter, all people who are working in the field of Venus. Now we've really opened it up, right? So this is a huge, huge space, and it is right now getting affected because it's unnatural. I'm not saying negatively affected, positively affected. It is unnatural. It is not natural. So how is it affecting each one of you now that I've listed all the things? Shalini, number three, what else? Ascendant?
Number 3, but my Lagan is Taurus.
Excellent. Ramanji, जुपिटर की तो इतनी प्रॉब्लम है, ऑलरेडी दिक्कत चल रही है.
Ascendant of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tanya?
Maybe my life revolves around lack of Jupiter only. But yeah, and I'm also a Libran by moon sign. So
Libra by moon, and also you have a Venetian profession.
Venetian profession.
Manvi? What a good time to plan a wedding.
I don't know this.
Okay. Sonal is a Libra. Chiku?
Number 3, vegetarian.
Number 3.
Aquarium.
Shashank?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a number 4. I'm an Aquarian by moon sign.
Ascendant?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Yeah. Kumbh Rashi Vrishak Lagan. This is what I tell every time.
Jupiter is a big problem for you too. But we can discuss. So Suruchi, we know Jupiter is a problem. Pooja, we know Jupiter is a problem. Megha, we know Jupiter is a problem. Like Disha, we know Jupiter is a problem. Both we know Jupiter. So when you go through this entire list, Jupiter is going to be a problem or Venus is going to be a problem.
Sorry, can I just tell you one more thing?
Yeah.
So my Lagan is Taurus, but I have Jupiter in my 7th house. So like that also.
So a lot of us, and this is especially, that's why I'm holding this session today. A lot of us have this unique combination. Us, all of us here, anybody who's associated with me will have this unique combination. There are two energies, contradictory energies working for you guys. All of you all. This is why I'm holding this session. This is not an astrology session. All of you all have two contradicting energies working for you. That's the only way you can be here on this class with me, doing sadhana with me. You all have Jupiter and Venus in one which way connected. Because if you are with me, you're doing Devi sadhana. When your object of sadhana is Venetian, you have Jupiter and Venus. connected. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? All of you, every single one of you have two things going for you. One, you're doing Devi Sadhana. तो पूजा जो कर रहे हैं आप, वो पूजा जो आप भगवती की कर रहे हैं, उसकी वजह से Jupiter and Venus are connected. Second, your teacher only is a woman. You do not have a male teacher. You have the feminine even as your teacher. Right? So these two things are very unique. So all of us over here in this particular session, anybody who's connected with me, anybody who does Devi Upasana, anybody who has a feminine guide in their lives, you are unique people who have been able to bring these two energies together even without this physical conjunction, without the physical coming together of these two energies. Does that make sense? You're all very unique people. So you have two teachers working for you. Naturally, it should be Jupiter. But you have also managed to convert the feminine, the Venusian energy, and you're making it work in a Jupiterian fashion for you. So in one way, you are very special people. Already have these two energies in one. So if Shalini was to study everybody's chart, she will find that commonality in everybody's chart, including her own. That Venus and Jupiter are in one which way connected in each and every single chart of everybody over here. Otherwise, you couldn't attend this session. So this is a very important thing. Most people, when you listen to astrology, when you study astrology, people will predict based on Rashi, they will predict based on Lagna, they will predict based on this. So none of the ill effects that are being mentioned over there, you have to really worry about. You don't have to worry about it. It's a big transit. It's not going to affect you badly. In fact, on contraire, it will only give you benefits. Because you already have these two energies working for you together. Now, what you have to remember to do is continue to invest in these two energies together. So, find another year to get mad at me. This year, stay happy and positive and connected. Find another year to pray to somebody else. This year, you pray to the goddess in her Devi, in her teacher form. So we are doing Saraswati, we are doing a lot of Dakshinamurti, we are doing Banglamukhi. We are trying to increase the feminine Jupiterian energy in this year. You want to make sure this year when you do Guru Purnima, you do it very, very well. And don't forget to call me. It will not help me, it will only help you. So make sure your connection with your feminine teachers, Guru, is very strong and very protected. And make sure that your Upasana of the goddess in her teacher form is very, very solid. So all the ill effects that can come from this transit will not come to you. Because otherwise it's an unnatural conjunction that is happening where Jupiter and Venus are coming together for the world it harbors back. It's not a good thing because it's unnatural. It reduces the potency of Jupiter for Jupiterian energies and it reduces the potency of Venus for Venusian energy. So anybody who's, like I said, Jupiter or Venus, they're both suffering because Jupiter coming in a Venusian sign will affect both the signs. Jupiter is not strong enough, and Venus does not remain strong because Jupiter is there. But exception, all of us. Because we already have these two conjunctions, we are already harboring those energies in us. Now, to explain this a little bit more, I'd like to draw your attention to this story of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Yeah, Lord Shiva and Parvati. You imagine Lord Shiva as Jupiter and Parvati as Venus. So the story of Lord Shiva and Parvati coming together is a very hard one. It's not easy. They don't come together easy. It's very hard. And even after they come together, they keep falling apart. They keep falling apart. They keep falling. किसी ने अगर शिव पुराण पढ़ी हो या शिव जी की कहानियां पढ़ी हो शिव पार्वती की, तो ये बार बार ये हो गया तो फिर देवी को वापस आना पड़ा, फिर उन्होंने साधना करी, फिर वो वापस गई, फिर दोबारा नीचे आ गई, फिर दोबारा साधना करी, फिर वापस ऊपर गई। ये बार 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 कुछ समझा नहीं, कुछ सीखा नहीं, कुछ गलती कर दी, कुछ बोला ठीक नहीं, for some reason or the other, the goddess will constantly come back and then again acquire the merit and go up and be with Lord Shiva. So that union is coveted, the union is beautiful, but that union is not stable. And that union requires a lot of sacrifices from both parties. Yes? So जब सती के रूप में माता चली गई, तो भगवान शंकर को दुख नहीं हुआ क्या? Was he not upset? Did he not suffer? Imagine losing a partner. You can reconcile, you can find a stoic moment, but it is not something that you can ever really rise above. So, if you're very strong also, you can just go through it. Even Jupiter is suffering. And of course, Venus is also suffering. Both of them are suffering. So, remember this, when we are keeping these two energies together, or we are constantly bringing these two energies together, our life will also have a lot of upheavals. Natural upheavals, not unnatural upheavals. Natural upheavals. Our life will also have a lot of upheavals, exactly like Shiva and Parvati. आए फिर चले, फिर आए फिर चले, फिर आए फिर चले. So जो ये पीरियड है एक साल का, ये एक बहुत opportunistic period. This is a very good period for all of us if we so decide to use it. Na? What will increase in this period for any sadhak? Sadhana will increase. अगर आप देवी की साधना कर रहे हैं या आप विनीजन हैं और आप भगवान शंकर की साधना कर रहे हैं, तो साधना आपकी इस पर्टिकुलर साल में, क्योंकि दोनों ही गुरु साथ में हैं, बहुत अच्छी होगी. अगर आपने बाकी सब छोड़ के साधना का मार्ग पकड़ लिया, तो साधना बहुत अच्छी होगी. You will do very well in your practices. So good year to pick up a sadhana, good year to do sadhana, good year to do in Sikhs they do chaliya. कुछ भी decide कर लो. Every day take a sankalp. We will do this, we will do that, we will do that. हो जाएगा. Already you are having benefic influence from both these energies. ये साल स्पेशली इम्पोर्टेंट है साधना के लिए. दूसरी चीज जो इस साल में होगी, वो बहुत कम खर्चा करना, क्योंकि ये पूरी, again, the entire group, money will not be available. For some reason or the other, financial difficulties, because जहां साधना बढ़ जाती है वहां मैटर कम हो जाता है. So this year is a year of difficulty. I mean, you will be able to go through it. It will be a year of financial hardships, but it will not affect you, but it is a year of financial hardships. It will not be easy. Not for everybody. I'm just talking about the sadhaks here. साधना बहुत अच्छी होगी और खर्चा ज्यादा मत करना, क्योंकि अगर खर्चा किया तो इस बार इस टाइम में इस पीरियड में यू वोंट बी एबल टू rebound. It will be a difficult, hard year. तीसरी चीज, जो भी अभी भी खाने पे कंट्रोल नहीं कर रहे हैं लोग, उनकी हेल्थ खराब हो जाएगी. अगर हुई नहीं है ऑलरेडी, इफ ऑलरेडी यू हैवंट एक्सपीरियंस्ड issues, even though you're doing sadhana and everything, your health is going to suffer. You have to maintain a sadhak lifestyle, only then you'd be able to get through this year. यानी कि दिन में 3-4 घंटा पूजा करो, उपवास करो, एक टाइम का खाना खाओ, तो ये साल आराम से निकलेगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. और ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव ईयर है. It will change your mind, it will change your life, it will change your direction. For those of you who don't know, I started teaching in 2012. 2012 was the year that I started teaching. I left everything and I started teaching philosophy. 2012 was the year that all the books that you are still reading today were published, were printed. So it will be a transformative year, for sure. It will set your life for the next 12 years, or at least 6. Because next time this will happen will be when Jupiter transits through Libra. Does that make sense? So, 2 issues. Do not spend money without great deal of consideration. If you have assets, fixed assets, hold on to them. If you have gold, please make sure you hold on to it. Do not be tempted to sell it. If you don't have it, you can acquire it. If you don't have FDs, you put FDs. If you don't have a house yet, please put it and invest it in a house. Not a good time to buy a house though. Not a good time to put FDs. Not a good time to buy gold. मेरे कहने का मतलब, कोशिश कर लीजिएगा, होगा नहीं. जितना है उसको बचा लेना. और जो हेल्थ है, this will really be hard for people who are not in control. You will get crazy diagnosis from the doctors. If you are not keeping strict discipline on your taste buds, which you will not be able to if you have not done enough sadhana, if you have not prepared for it, this is going to be a year of ये डॉक्टर की रिपोर्ट आई है, ये डॉक्टर की रिपोर्ट आई है, अब ये बता दिया उन्होंने, ये हो गया, अब ये बता दिया. But to steer clear, very easy. All you have to do is maintain strict discipline on what you put inside your mouth. And this is Again, this is not connected to any Rashi, any Nakshatra, this is all of us. This is just all of us sadhaks. So, great opportunity to build your sadhana, great opportunity to grow your sadhana, great opportunity to change your life course and make it more meaningful. But if you continue to indulge, if you continue to give in to your vasanas, this year can be very traumatic and again life changing in a negative fashion. If you do not do sadhana, this is going to be a problem. And the last thing, just like I said before, and it'll be hard for me also to do the classes, but as much as you can, hold on to a feminine guru. If you have one, if you are lucky enough to have one, please hold on. This is not the year to get upset with what I said to you. No, you reserve that for next year. Just make sure you are constantly connected. You're joining the morning chanting or the classes, or somehow or they are listening to classes. You don't even have to see my face in person live. You can just go through the recordings. Not a problem. But this is not the year to in any which way. You know how I tell my husband, if I continue to talk to you, at some point I'll work myself up. So you don't have to continue to talk to me to work yourself up against me. Just relax and keep it a good, easy relationship and make sure you're holding on. And that will see you through a lot of your difficulties as well. अब वो खाली पकड़ने से नहीं, जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ, okay, जो मैं बात कह रही हूँ वो बात सुननी भी पड़ेगी. So that means if I've said something, you listen to. Staying connected with me means listening to what I'm saying, whatever I have said, whatever I have posted. It means you make your mind space, your head space subservient to my thought. That is what it means. It doesn't mean you listen to everything. If I'm telling you go right, go right. Not like that. But मेक योर माइंड स्पेस हेड स्पेस. गुरु का मतलब यही होता है कि आप अपने से ऊपर किसी की बात सुनो, और अगर वो स्थान नहीं दे सकते तो फिर वो गुरु नहीं है. जो आपकी क्लास में आपका टीचर था वो आपका गुरु नहीं है, वो टीचर ही है, वो अध्यापक है. गुरु वो होता है जो आप मन भी कर रहा है तो भी आप चलो छोड़ो, इसको छोड़ो, वो ही कर लेते हैं जो बोला गया है, तो वो गुरु है. सो ट्राई एंड कीप my voice as that voice in your head. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's experienced that voice in your head, right? Who hasn't? Everybody's experienced my voice in your head. I don't even have to say it. So just keep that voice in your head. Have that relationship. Make sense? And then this year will be a very beautiful year for you. Otherwise, it can be a traumatic year. It can be a year of difficulties, and I don't want to see anybody in pain, because it really, really affects me. So don't suffer. Make sure you follow these few little things. Discipline of food, discipline of sadhana. Discipline of food, discipline of sadhana, and making sure you keep yourself humble through this year. Do not give in to desires. That's all. Any questions? Thoughts, questions? There are no stupid questions. You can ask. I'm not going to scold you. Yeah. So really important to keep discipline. Chiku, do not eat too much. Pooja, be very careful what you put in your mouth. Suruchi, already a lot of problems showing. Piyush, I will come to India specially and keep you with me in my house because you guys, you have zero discipline. You're eating really badly and you're going to get crazy diagnosis. Like it will not be a fatty liver, it will be liver cirrhosis now. This is a very,
Namaste.
very sorry.
I said namaste दीदी. I know this is मतलब मैं तो पता नहीं मतलब I have no words. I'll happily stay with you.
Come work from home, come here, stay with me. And that actually that is an open invitation to anybody who wants to do that.
Didi, can you give us a roadmap of how to eat and like what to eat? Because for many days or months we eat something and then, at least for me, and then I realize, oh, this is not healthy. This is not supposed to be eaten every day. So it's like very confusing. And with work, the priority just, it becomes work only. So everything else takes a backseat. If you can just give us some guidance on, what is the right way to have
Beta,
food.
no matter what you do this year, digestion will be hard only. Even for those of us who have solid digestion, digestion will be hard this year. But for those of us like, Tanya, Shashank, there's some of us who have really terrible digestion. मतलब कौन सा दिन है जब struggle नहीं होती. So for those of us, it's going to be even harder. But जिनका ठीक भी है digestion, जैसे शालिनी का है, मेरा है, रमन जी का है, ठीक ठाक digestion, उनको भी दिक्कत होगी. So and that kind of, so your question is good. First thing is, how many times do you open your mouth to put something in your mouth? That is the first thing. Do it once a day or do it twice a day. Anything more than that is absolutely unhealthy. Whatever you want to eat, it's firstly not important what you're putting in your mouth. That is secondary. First thing is, open your mouth only 2 times in the day to put anything in. Maximum 2 times, ideally once. And if you do it over a period of time, it seems impossible, but if you do it over a period of time, your body gets used to it. Now, again, the caveat here is, the problem here is, if you are talking to too many people, if you're really, really exposed, if you're not living a sadhak's life, it is not possible. If you're going to work every day, if you're going meeting, socializing every day, if you're going to attend 50,000 weddings in a year, this is not going to be possible. You will eat, you will end up indulging, it will be very hard, it will be impossible. So the first rule, no matter what, open your mouth only once, maximum 2 times to put something in your mouth. Second thing, when you do have the opportunity to eat, make sure at least it's home cooked. These days there are lots of options. And the temptation to go out and eat will be very, very solid. Again, this is a year of temptations. Not only sadhana, it's a year of temptations. So it will be very easy for those people who generally eat at home will also go out and eat. It's crazy. So second rule is, when possible, eat at home. When you have an option, go out, eat at home, eat at home. Third thing, do not eat any cooking mediums except coconut oil, olive oil, and ghee. So no canola, no safola, no heart healthy, no this, no that, nothing. And make sure that's a good percentage of your diet. So there should be at least 1.5, 2 tablespoons of proper um, oil in your diet. Proper. And then just by the way, it is impossible to find pure ghee. So you're better off with coconut oil or olive oil or something else, because there's just, it's not possible to find pure ghee these days unless you really have a dairy or somebody that trustworthy who can give it to you. Then the third thing, fourth, fifth, I don't know, you're making the list. So the last thing in terms of what you should eat, if you're eating like this, then eating the fat portion is very important, because if you don't have that proper fat, you will feel hungry. So that 1 tablespoon, 1.5, 2 tablespoons of ghee properly. You cannot have 2 tablespoons of ghee like in the West. ये जैसे यहाँ पर करते पागल लोग, 2 चम्मच घी नहीं खा सकते आप. वो रोटी के साथ ही खाया जाएगा, चावल के साथ ही खाया जाएगा, दाल के साथ ही खाया जाएगा. आप ऐसे ही 2 चम्मच घी नहीं खा सकते. That is going to completely screw up your system. Don't have that. Unless it's medicated and some Ayurvedic doctor is giving it to you, please don't have it like that. So take a small bowl of rice and put 1 spoon of ghee, take dal, 1 katori dal, put 2 spoons of ghee and then have it. Not a problem. Right? And lastly, खाने में थोड़ा मीठा खाना जरूरी है. मीठा जरूर खाओ. घी खाना जरूरी है. घी जरूर खाओ. चावल, दाल, ग्रेन खाना जरूरी है. ग्रेन जरूर खाओ. So 3 things I've said: grain, sweet, natural sweet, and ghee. इसके अलावा you can, everybody can have pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. These will not give you allergy. Pumpkin and sesame mostly are very, very good with most people. You can have in dal, you can have moong dal. In vegetables, you want to steer clear of all root vegetables. So no potatoes. I hope Piyush is listening. No potatoes. अरवी नहीं खानी चाहिए. And other root like yam and everything else. So you want what vegetables can you have? You can have ghia, tori, bhindi, lauki, beans. These are all good vegetables, yeah. It's not hard to have these vegetables. But see, if you want to follow a proper diet, then you want to do it with proper medium of fat. Your sustenance will only come from fat. It will not come from protein, because vegetable proteins are not that strong that they can hold you for the whole day. So you have to have a good fat medium. If you don't have good fat, then you will have a lot of junk and you will ruin your system. ना वैसे मैं बोलती हूँ कि ज्यादातर ग्लूटेन खाना नहीं चाहिए और लैक्टोज भी अवॉइड ही कर देना चाहिए, बिकॉज आजकल दोनों ही चीजें बहुत खराब हो गई हैं। मगर अगर खाना भी है तो एक घी में तली हुई पूरी खा लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग विद दैट। एक ही टाइम खाना पीयूष, अगर पूरी खा रहे हैं तो। There's no problem in that. So have good fat, but have it once a day. Does that answer your question? Do you need more guidance? I covered vegetables, I covered pulses. For sweets, you want to stay with jaggery and dates. So have 2 dates every day, have a little piece of jaggery every day. There is nothing wrong with sweets, have those sweets. Try and avoid processed sugar. Also, vegetarian people will think mushrooms are good, soya is good, not good. Pumpkin is a really good source of protein. Have pumpkin every day. So pumpkin के भी 2-3 वैरायटी आती है, इंडिया में भी आती है 2-3 वैरायटी। आप खा लो, पेठा खा लो, पीला वाला खा लो, हरा वाला खा लो. You can have. But if you're trying to hold yourself through the day with pumpkin, that's not going to be possible. It's going to be hard. That it doesn't have the ability to do that. So you want to make sure you have proper source of oil and properly, not just a spoon of oil. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Pooja? Anybody else? Any other question?
जी
Didi,
दीदी।
besan is good to eat? Besan?
Besan is hard to process. Besan, I will tell you to avoid this year. थोड़ा बेसन खा सकते हैं. Once a week you can have gatta or kadhi or something. It's fine. But don't make it a staple. The only dal that you can make staple is moong dal. Any other questions from anything that I discussed? हाँ बेटा.
दीदी आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट के पर्सपेक्टिव से बोला कि यू नो डो आई मीन सो वन इज कैन वी पे ऑफ द लोन एंड कैन वी if we have money then can we invest somewhere like house or gold? I mean, I know you said it will be difficult, but is it a good idea to do this year?
See, from investment point of view, firstly you will not have, you will spend everything. पहली बात कि कुछ बचे तुम्हारे पास तब मुझसे पूछना इन्वेस्टमेंट. बचेगा नहीं. फॉर वन रीजन और दी अदर बचेगा नहीं. और जो भी खर्चा अगर तुम्हें लग भी रहा है ना कि तुम इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हो, इवन इफ यू थिंकिंग दैट यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग दिस ईयर, इट विल नॉट बी इन्वेस्टमेंट, इट विल बी लॉस्ट ओनली. सो देन डोंट रिपेंट लेटर कि यहाँ कर दिया, ये वहां कर दिया. तो ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करना नहीं कहीं पर भी, क्योंकि वो लॉस ही हो जाएगा. ज्यादा कुछ खरीदना नहीं कहीं पर भी. If at all you need to do some kind of savings, then do it in jewelry that you are wearing. Because gold jewelry that you're wearing will be Jupiter and Venus. That is the only thing that you'll be able to keep with you. The rest will be lost.
Okay.
They it'll be difficult to recover that. So for sure, do not make any risky investments. FD में डाल दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. RD में डाल दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Loans pay off कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. खर्चा मत कर. The temptation will be there to go on vacations this year. I would tell you to sincerely avoid it. The temptation will be there to buy vehicles this year. I will tell you again, sincerely avoid it. Big expenditures, the temptation will be there. As much as possible, avoid it because this is going to be a hard financial year. Yes.
दीदी प्रणाम। आप कुछ बता रहे थे उस समय शादी के लिए, तो मैं बोलूं जब आप जुपिटर और वीनस का बता रहे थे कनेक्शन।
क्या क्वेश्चन है? सॉरी, आई डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन.
आप मेरे को उस समय जब जुपिटर और वीनस के बारे में आपने शुरू में क्लास में बताया, तो आपने मेरे से पूछा था व्हाट अबाउट मी, बट आई डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड द कनेक्शन विद जुपिटर एंड वीनस एक्सेप्ट दैट Mayank is also number 3. But
And he's
I'm a
getting
Scorpio,
married.
so and
He's a number 3 who's getting a wife. Wife is Venus.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Any other questions? Everybody understood? Yes.
एक क्वेश्चन है, मुझे नहीं पता कि वो इससे रिलेटेड है कि नहीं, लेकिन जैसे अब मेरा छोटा बेटा है, उसको एजुकेशन के लिए बाहर जाना है, तो हमारे पास 2 ऑप्शन है, एक गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज है, एक प्राइवेट कॉलेज है। तो एक में मनी बहुत ज्यादा लग रही है, एक में नॉर्मल लग रही है, तो हमें इसमें कितने मतलब किस तरह उस चीज को डील करना चाहिए?
He's 6, no? हाँ, तो फिर कम खर्चे में कैसे काम होएगा? बड़ा खर्चा करो. Anybody else? Any other questions? All right. So everybody remember, we have to do sadhana. We have to do a lot of control of desires, control desires as much as possible. And it will become very hard. You guys will start working yourselves up. You will feel really, really miserable because you couldn't get what in your head you wanted. Try to remember this conversation. This is a year of indulgences. Please do not indulge. It will not land you in a good place. It will only create problems for you. But this year is a great momentous year for sadhana. It is a life-changing year for sadhana. If you're able to do it, it will completely change your life. And again, my offer is open to anybody who wants to come, stay with me. You're most welcome. Come stay with me. Good year to do that. Again, it's a year that will change your life if you use it well. And it can destroy you physically, financially, if you don't use it well. All right? All good? Sonal, any questions? I know it's late. Pulkit, beta, you don't understand too many energies. Did you understand the conversation?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm just confused what I am though, but it's fine.
Well, anyway, no matter what you are, you're working in the area of art. That is Venetian. Okay? So you want to be very, very careful.
Before meeting you, I thought I was Sagittarius, but then we started saying that I was Kanya Rashi, so I got confused. Am I
And
Sagittarius
it
because I
doesn't
was
matter. You're Sagittarius Sun, you are Kanya Moon, and there must be an ascendant also somewhere. So Sagittarius is governed by Jupiter. The work that you are doing is Venetian. Like I said earlier in this class, there is not one person over here in this session who will not have a deep connection between Venus and Jupiter. You're all here together because you have Venetian and Jupiterian connection. All of you will have it. You don't have to understand yourself. Every single one of you. Like, Suruchi can wear her bling shoes and fancy clothes and still chant Lalita Sahasranam. And people can be like completely bowled over, like, what? Never expected you to be able to do this. Even for, before my sadhana days, even before, like, who knows me from then? Shashank knows me. Yeah. So even then, like, if I would say that I can cook, nobody would believe me. Like, I can cook. Guys, I can cook. But today nobody has that doubt. But generally, those days, you remember Shashank?
Yeah, 2003. 2003, 2004, 2005, yeah.
Who would believe?
I know, there were so many different parts of you which were totally unexpected. What you look and what you do. You might look very Western, but you had very traditional values.
That's Jupiter and Venus.
Yeah, I know. Who would go to Tirupati and get the head tonsured and come to office with the swag? I know, I've seen it all. Yeah, we were like, yeah, I've seen good times.
Look what, so I think it's hard for most people to understand what Jupiter and Venus together look like. But all of you are presenting that picture to the world. You guys are embodiments of Jupiter and Venus together. The same thing. Same thing with Tanya, same thing with Pulkit. Who will know? Who will know how dedicated he is to his country or his family? Nobody will know when he's partying. Or Disha for that matter. Nobody will know. Even you guys are all the same. There's a lot of Jupiter and there's a lot of Venus, and people don't even understand you. You don't even understand yourself because they're two contradictory energies. So it's an interesting space, and please use this year nicely because it's an interesting year. It brings these two contradictory energies together in the universe. And so you have an opportunity here. Use it wisely. Use it wisely. Any other thoughts, questions?
Didi, I have one.
Habit.
Didi, Pranam Didi.
It's
Any special advice for like single child son, World Jupiter? Is it the same which you have advised us to do?
बेटा सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट ना, ये मैं हर किसी को बोलती हूँ जिसका कोई भी बच्चा हो, आधा भी बच्चा हो, एक भी बच्चा हो ना, पेट में भी बच्चा हो, तो भी अगर बच्चा है तो ऐसे कोई माँ बाप नहीं होने चाहिए जो साधना ना करें, क्योंकि उसको कंट्रोल करने का कोई तरीका नहीं। आपकी जान निकल के आपके अंदर से बाहर चली गई, सोचो, embodied in somebody else. तो एक बच्चा हो, दो बच्चा हो, चार बच्चा हो, पांच बच्चा हो, या अभी आधा ही हो, अभी बन रहा हो, तो भी सिर्फ साधना ही करना है और इसके अलावा कोई उपाय नहीं है। और किसी का बच्चा है वो साधना नहीं कर रहा है, वो दिक्कत है। That is a problem. You are not a good parent if you're not doing sadhana because there's no other way to protect your children. Please sit down and do sadhana. तुम खाना ला के दे दो उनको, कपड़े पहना दो, किताबें दे दो, संस्कार भी दे दो, अगर साधना नहीं की तो उसका कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है। देयर इज नो प्रोटेक्शन फॉर दैट। ना छोटा, देखो छोटा सा बच्चा है, हमें कितना छोटा सा बच्चा है, इतना छोटा सा बच्चा है। आदमी का बच्चा इतना छोटा सा होता है। अभी ये पुलकित इतना बड़ा हो गया ना, बड़ा दिखता है खाली, अंदर से उतना ही छोटा सा है। आदमी के बच्चे को सेटल होने में, ये शशांक आज तक सेटल नहीं हुआ, अभी भी बच्चा है। थोड़ा सा छेड़ दो अभी रो देगा। सो आदमी का बच्चा बड़ा होने में बहुत टाइम लगता है, उसके लिए एक्चुअली साधना लगती है। हम लोग बड़े तभी होते हैं, मेच्योर तभी होते हैं जब थोड़ी साधना करो, थोड़ा योगा करो, थोड़ा मंत्र जाप करो, थोड़ा स्वाध्याय करो, पढ़ाई करो, थोड़ी फिलोसफी पढ़ो, तब आदमी मेच्योर होता है। उससे पहले तो बच्चा ही रहता है। और उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए सिर्फ माँ बाप की पूजा और आशीर्वाद। और ऐसा कोई पेरेंट नहीं है जो अपने बच्चों को आशीर्वाद नहीं देता, हर पेरेंट देता है। ऐसा कोई पेरेंट नहीं है जो अपने बच्चों को आशीर्वाद नहीं देता। मगर अगर आपके अंदर दम ही नहीं है तो आशीर्वाद कहाँ से निकलेगा? क्या चीज का आशीर्वाद दे रहे हो? जिसके अंदर जितनी ताकत होती है उतना ही दूर तक आशीर्वाद चलता है। So the only thing you need to do for your children is make sure that you're doing sadhana. There is no other protection that they have. And for a long time, they will have no other protection. It's only now at, the fourth decade or fifth decade that we are all settling down as human beings, right? Only now we are not behaving like children. Only now that when parents come around, we conduct ourselves as grown-ups. Only now. It took us 40, 50 years to get here. तो बच्चे कब तक बच्चे रहते हैं? बहुत टाइम तक आदमी का बच्चा बहुत टाइम तक बच्चा ही रहता है। तो उसको ठीक से रखने के लिए आप साधना करो, पूजा करो और आशीर्वाद देते रहो बच्चों को। देते ही हैं, मगर उसमें कुछ दम भी होना चाहिए। Just catering to their needs is not, in fact, not at all. It's the bare minimum. Even birds do that. Even ants will do that. The only difference that you can make as a human being is sadhana. Because your child will remain a child for a good 4 decades. Any other question? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
नमस्ते दीदी।
Namaste, Guri.
दीदी दान क्या क्या करना चाहिए इसका?
It's a hard question because we don't have time. See, दान तब लगता है जब जब हम कोई चीज देते हैं तो हमारे पास से चली जाती है। और अगर हमने अच्छे मन से दिए, इफ वी डू इट नाइसली, तो वो 2-3 गुना वापस आती। जैसे कि अगर मैंने एक आदमी को खाना खिलाया, अच्छे मन से खिलाया, तो 2-3 लोग मुझे खाना खिलाएंगे। कितना खाना खिलाया मुझे इसने? तूने खिलाया कितना खाना ना? श्रुति ने खिलाया कितना, कितने महीने बिठा बिठा के। सो जब हम दान करते हैं तो वो इमिजिएटली हमारे यहाँ से चला जाता है और कुछ टाइम के बाद वापस आता है, और उसका आपकी साधना के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि कितने टाइम में वो वापस आता है, या आपके मन के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, कितने निर्मल मन से, कितने अच्छे मन से आपने दान किया है, वो कितने टाइम में वापस आएगा, वो उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। So, dan is a tricky thing because when you donate, you actually lose energy and then it comes back to you. Now, what happens if you're in crisis? I will tell you to do dan because at that time you really can't do anything else. Also, if you're in crisis at that time, you are not thinking anything else. आपकी और कोई एजेंडा नहीं रहते कि गाड़ी भी मिल जाए, प्रमोशन भी हो जाए, ये भी हो जाए, जो भी क्राइसिस का इशू है, उसी के लिए आप दान कर रहे हैं। तो अगर क्राइसिस है और आप दान कर रहे हैं तो आपका लग जाएगा, वो जल्दी लग जाएगा। मगर बिना क्राइसिस के जो हम लोग रेगुलरली दान करते हैं, वो शॉर्ट टर्म में वो एनर्जी जाती है, और कितने अच्छे मन से आपने किया है या कितनी साधना के साथ की है, उसके बेसिस पे वो वापस आएगी। कितना टाइम के बाद वापस आएगी, ये हर किसी का डिफरेंट है। There is no formula to this or no obvious formula. So this year I would say, अगर दान नहीं भी होता, कोई क्राइसिस है तो करो दान, तो चलेगा, क्योंकि हम जुपिटर दे भी नहीं सकते, कब वापस मिलेगा हमारा मन भी इतना अच्छा नहीं है, वीनस भी दे नहीं सकते, वी आर रनिंग शॉर्ट ऑन टू वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एनर्जीज। सो अगर नहीं किया दान तो कोई हर्ज नहीं है इसमें, साधना करो। मगर अगर अच्छे मन से कहीं करने को मिल जाए तो आई वुड से गुरुकुल में दान करो, गुरुद्वारे में दान करो, किस चीज का दान करो, और ऑल्सो छोटी बच्चियों को दान करो, गर्ल्स कॉलेज, गर्ल्स स्कूल, सेम जुपिटर एंड वीनस का दान करो। बट आई वुड अगेन, आई एम सेइंग दिस, बट आई वुड रेकमेंड दैट don't do dan, instead you focus on sadhana and puja, because we are very greedy, and when we do dan we are not able to keep the right frame of mind that is required for that. हमारी वासना आगे आई जाती, ऐसा लगता है कि हम बिना डिजायर के करते हैं, पर डिजायर आगे आई जाती। तो बहुत अच्छा साल है, आप साधना करो, आप तीर्थ यात्रा करो, आपको घूमने जाना है ना, घूमने जाओ जरूर, आप तीर्थ जाओ, तीर्थ यात्रा करो, और साधना करो, और खाना बिल्कुल एक, मैक्सिमम 2 टाइम, and be very careful of your kidneys and your liver. Do not expose them in any which way. So don't have many antibiotics this year. Make sure you're not having too much medication. Make sure you're very, very careful with what you put in your mouth. Make sure your kidneys and your liver are able to, and lungs are able to survive this year. A lot of people will find lung related issues suddenly prop up. A lot of people will find digestion related issues crop up. This year will be a golden year for all doctors in that profession, like Sona. Very nice, good. Make hay while sun shines. Any other questions? All right. Everybody's good? Vikas, all good?
Yes, yes, all good. Listening in.
Okay. Awesome.
Good advice.
Didi,
Yeah.
Didi, can I ask
हाँ बेटा.
what places would you suggest to visit? What places would you suggest us to visit this year? The temples.
अरे तुम्हारे हाथ में होता तो आज तक कर नहीं लिए होते. तुम थोड़ी डिसाइड करोगे what places you can visit. God will
Or
decide what
yeah,
places you can
God
go.
will decide. Exactly, Didi.
आज तक तिरुपति तक तो जा नहीं पाई. क्या करेगी कौन सी प्लेस?
Right, Didi.
गलत क्वेश्चन है. सवाल सही पूछो. मतलब हमारी इंटेंशन
तब
रहनी
बुलाएंगे.
चाहिए. No, for our particular selves, we should definitely, like I said, संकल्प करके कुछ भी करो. संकल्प कर लो कि इस साल में 2 मंदिर जाऊंगी. ये मत करोगे ये मंदिर जाऊंगे वो मंदिर जाऊंगी. संकल्प कर लो कि 2 मंदिर जाएंगे. भगवान 2 पूरे करा दे. अब वो चाहे अपने कॉलोनी के 2 मंदिर तुम जा पाओ कि थोड़ी दूर के जा पाओ कि कोई बड़ा तीर्थ हो जाए, वो तो साधना के ऊपर है, ग्रेस के ऊपर है. आपके हाथ में होता तो अभी तक हो ही गया होता बेटा. It's not in your hands. What temples you visit is not in your hands. It is absolute grace. मैं खुद ही एक बार तिरुपति जाके बिना दर्शन के वापस आई, माँ बाप के साथ. अब इस बार गई थी तो मुझे लगा इस बार तो देवी के दर्शन ही नहीं होंगे. वहां पर पता नहीं कौन सा फेस्टिवल चल रहा था. उन्होंने मना ही कर दिया, टिकट ही नहीं मिलेगी. वो इतनी लंबी लाइन, कौन लाइन में खड़े हुए. मेरे को तो पक्का पता था कि दर्शन ही नहीं होंगे. फिर पूजा ही करनी पड़ती है. तो कोई बात नहीं, बिना दर्शन के चले जाएंगे. हम तो आ ही सकते थे, उतना ही अपने बस में था. दर्शन तो आप ही दोगे. उसको भी रहम आ गया बेचारे को. कहता अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, आप ले लो टिकट, दो जाओ. ना उसको रहम आया ना कुछ. वो तो ग्रेस ही है यार, ऊपर से ही आती है. हम थोड़ी कर सकते हैं, तो पॉसिबल. Change your attitude so that you are not coming across with so much ego. If you come across with so much ego, you will definitely not be able to go to temples. In your head, in your words, do not have the conversation like this. Wrong conversations. खाली तेरे को बोल रही हूँ, एड्रेसल तेरा नहीं है, सबका ही ऐसा. हमारा भी ऐसा ही होता है कभी. इस मंदिर जाएंगे उस मंदिर जाएंगे. कौन हो तो जाने वाले. सो जस्ट संकल्प करना जरूरी है. संकल्प कर लो कि 2 मंदिर जाएंगे, एक एक तीर्थ करा देगा बस. और कुछ. दिशा, good year to lose your weight बेटा. Good year to lose weight. Anybody who's trying to do weight loss in any which way, this is a really good year to lose weight. All right, guys. Any other? Nothing? Good? All good?
Shrinka, I just wanted to ask, I got late, I got confused, whatever. While joining, will you be able to share the recording? Because I missed the first one. Thank you.
You're welcome. I will post the recording. Excellent. Thank you so much for staying up, Sonal, and for everybody for joining in early in the morning on Sunday. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully, the classes will come back next month. And join in as much as you can, right? Even if you otherwise don't join in classes, join in as much as you can. when we do start the classes. This year is very important that you do all of that. You stay connected, you stay with sadhana, because you know what happens when you don't see my face, for some reason you stop chanting. Everybody knows that. Like if you don't have this danda from here, you stop chanting, you stop doing your puja, you stop thinking about it. So this, as much as possible, I am on the road a lot in the next 2 months. So as much as possible, I will try to keep the morning chanting going. If I am not there, hopefully Shalini will pick up for me, or somebody can pick up for me. But we will keep that going, 6 o'clock in the morning, India time. We will keep that going. You guys can join in. Make sure you're doing your sadhana. And this whole year, I'll make sure that the chants are conducive to the day and the week and the planetary position, so you're taken care of. So if you don't join in, you can't benefit. That's also grace only. Try your best. Try to show up. Get up in the morning. Try to show up. That's all. One day at a time. All right, guys. Have a nice year. Have a nice week. Have a nice day. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, Didi. Thank
Namaste.
you.